Hey, what's up? This is Charles with IGN. I'm here with Anthony Gallegos.
Hello.
And I'm taking a look at the Diablo beta. This is post-patch 13. 13 changed quite a bit about how skills work, about how runes work. It actually reworked the entire rune system. So I've built up a monk here to level 11. I'll jump in right towards the end of the quest line in the beta. If you don't know anything about the beta, it's just a very small portion of Diablo 3's overall content. Just right towards the start of the game. You can level your character up to a little bit, but there is a low cap. And I've basically exhausted all beta content at this point, got a few items and stuff like that. But the items are not what has changed this time around. So I'm going to head out into the field toward the end of the beta quest line to show off how the rune system has changed. Which you can see in a second. It won't really get very exciting until I actually get to some enemies. But here's the basic menu as it looks now. What it allows you to do is head into any of the skill sets and change out skills at any time in the field, which was the case after beta patch 10 as well. The difference is that you can now modify skills in the menu with skill runes. They're no longer runestones.
That were, yeah, previously there were runestones that could be used on any skill to modify it, right?
Yeah, so basically before, runestones were essentially items that you would find in the field that they weren't in the beta, at least as far as I played it, that you could put on different skills to modify functionality. Now, the way skills are modified is still the same, but they're not called runestones anymore, they're skill runes, and these unlock as you level. So skills unlock as you level your character in Diablo 3, and skill runes will unlock as well. So you have 5 skill runes basically per active skill on your character. And Blizzard has kind of modified how you equip skills a little bit as well. So you have primary, secondary, defensive, conviction, technique, and focus, which they've basically bound to specific keys. So if you click in here, it's kind of a recommended selection of skills that you bind to each key and to your mouse clicks. You can bypass that by heading into your options and going to gameplay and hitting elective mode. So once you enable elective mode, you can now head back into the skill menu and switch between different skill sets to modify or to attach to your different keys and to your mouse clicks. There is still a limitation though. For instance, if I wanted to bind, where are they? I believe they're the mantras. Yeah, if I wanted to bind the monk's mantras to the left mouse, it doesn't look like I can do that. I don't know if that's really a big deal. Just because the mantra, which is down here, is bound to 2, basically just puts out an aura that increases my dodge chance. It lasts for 3 minutes, so I don't really need... That's not a spammy skill. That's not something I need to use all of the time.
So is there still the ability to upgrade your skills in as many ways as there were with runestones, or has it actually been dialed down a little bit?
No, the customization is actually, from what I can tell, is the same. I don't know if specific numbers or naming conventions have changed or something like that, but it still seems like the exact same customization element is there. It's just you're no longer looking.
You're getting it through unlocks.
You're no longer looking for specific items to equip. You're just doing it automatically through unlocks. So that, I don't know how people will feel about, that's one less thing to kind of look for. I know the reaction on that has been a little negative in that people were hoping to find more things, but it does sort of simplify the process a little bit, which I know some people get a little irritated with. Especially with a prospective console version on the horizon, people worry that it, Diablo 3 has been a little bit consoleized. I don't know, if you're not familiar with that term, it's just modifying games so that they are more playable on a console format. Of course, with a game like this that's PC-based, who knows if we'll eventually see a console version, but that is definitely something that will irritate greatly any long-term fan. Although, I mean, the game still seems to play pretty well even in its current state. Of course, I don't think anyone can make any kind of judgment on that in the long term, just because, as Blizzard said, the reason this decision was made to make the skill runes unlocks is because inventory management later in the game, where you're managing all these different runestones, apparently became a nightmare, according to what they've said. So that's why the change was made on their end, just because the late game stuff, which nobody has seen yet,
And I mean, I guess it also makes it seem like they are saying certain modified versions of moves are better than others, it would seem, because if you're not getting them until you get it at a high level, it's like something to look forward to because it's more powerful. Whereas when they were modifiable by stones, I got the impression that it was more like these, wasn't that one was necessarily more powerful than the other ones, it was just that this is the ways you can modify an ability.
Yeah, so and the way it's set up now is on your way to 60, 60 is the level cap, you will get an unlock at every level. So you will either unlock a skill rune, a new active skill, or a new passive skill. By the way, passive skills are down here, all the way up to the level cap, which is kind of cool. But I did want to show off what the skill runes actually do, because it's really interesting. So unfortunately, there's a little bit of a cooldown associated with this, but I'm going to look at Deadly Reach. So I'm going to do Deadly Reach, I'm going to equip that here, and have no skill rune attached to it, and I'll do the same thing with Dashing Strike, which is on here. I don't think I have anything for Lashing or Tail Kick. No, I don't. So Dashing Strike, I'm going to take the skill rune off of that as well, and I'm going to go find some enemies to kill with it, and then what I will do is swap in the skill runes to show you what the kind of active difference is. So Deadly Reach, in its normal form, will just strike through multiple enemies in a row in a straight line, basically. So you can see the effect. You can see that the kick, the shoulder charge, the punch. Ooh, a blue item and gold. I can't pass up gold if it's sitting on the ground. It's very difficult to do. Gold is very useful in the game, obviously, especially with the auction house. But yeah, so you see the sort of 3-strike combo that goes through straight through characters in a line. Now, if I were to go in and modify that, so I go to Deadly Reach, I put on the Piercing Trident skill rune, I activate that, which basically does the second and third strike in that combo have an increased area of effect. So I accept, I have to wait for this cooldown to finish out. If I just sit here and attack, I do basic weapon strikes, which are boring, so I'm not going to do that too much. But once this cooldown finishes, you'll be able to see the effect, which is fairly significant. And of course, every single skill rune that you put on has a different effect, so it modifies the skill in a different way. So the first strike is still a basic straight strike. The second strike
one
and third strike, you can see have, they basically strike out in different directions. So if in something like against a group of skeletons here, I'm killing a whole bunch at once, all in front of me in an arc instead of just along a single line. So it definitely increases the monk's kill capacity, especially in large groups, which tend to be pretty frequent in Diablo 3. I think that's a pretty neat effect.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's still providing the same sort of effect as the previous runestones that you had to find, except now it's just an unlockable.
Yeah.
But I could still see that this, maybe if you're going to be in a dungeon heavy of multiple enemies and you need to do area effect damage, this could still be something that you switch back to, even from a higher level version of a rune.
Yeah, and you could still take that off in case you don't want that functionality, although I'm not sure why you wouldn't, but each other rune has a dramatic effect on how the skill actually functions. Like in this one, critical hits generate spirit. In this one, the third strike randomly hits multiple enemies with lightning. In this one, the third strike increases your armor for a limited time.
And so again, the reason they're doing this is because previously, if someone had wanted to switch up a bunch of their abilities, in theory, they would have had to have carried around a bunch of stones. And now they don't have to. It's just built into the menu.
Yeah, I suppose so. Another cool effect of this is something like using the monk here to attack groups of enemies. You may have seen experience bonuses pop up at the bottom of the screen. A little mini game involved with every combat encounter is to sort of keep the combo going, keep killing people. You'll see even when you destroy things like the barrels over there, I got an experience bonus because I killed a bunch of barrels all at once. Same thing goes for killing monsters and things like that. You get XP bonuses so that you can level up a little faster. And having the area of effect attack like that definitely helps, and especially when you can combine it with that rush attack, which is the dashing strike that I can modify in a second here to show you how that is differentiated. But I still have this kill combo going, so when I finally take that guy down, I'll now get an XP bonus, maybe? Nope. I guess it's not going to give me one for that. I don't know why, really, but maybe I just wasn't fast enough with the dashing strike. But here, before I fight those guys, I will modify this dashing strike and apply this Way of the Falling Star skill rune, which increases movement speed after striking the enemy with that attack. So you can actually see the effect of that. It, of course, won't be active for a little bit, and I have my inventory blinking because I picked up a bunch of stuff. Also, just random detail, you can see with the blacksmith, who I had craft 2 of these spades, they were both the same spade, so I gave the craft command on the same thing both times, gave over the same amount of money and ingredients, and I got 2 completely different spades. So this one has flame damage, increased spirit regeneration, and I actually gain life per spirit spent, whereas this one has a dexterity bonus, spirit regeneration, and 1.1% of damage dealt is converted to life. So you get quite a bit of variation.
Still similar in function, but quite different in the details.
Yeah, and you can bet that later on in a game, like with more powerful items, people are definitely going to be hunting for those specialized skill sets, depending on how they've modified their skill runes.
So let's see the modified dash.
Yeah, so this is the dashing strike with the modification on it. You can actually see the effect after I hit someone. When I run around, you can see that little trail that's coming off of me now. I have increased movement speed, and I assume that'll be good for in large groups if the monk is really getting ganged up on. I can sort of run in from across the map, hit someone, and I have a little story element going here. But hit someone and then be able to get away a lot faster to let me dash in and out of combat. So I can do this, activate the speed boost once I hit something, and then here. And then come out of there a little more quickly to allow me to get away, and then maybe come back and do the dashing strike for additional damage. Let's see if there are more enemies up here. Yeah, so I can dash over here, run away, and I mean, this is the beta, so if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, wow, this looks super easy, and you know, it is. The difficulty level in the beta is not incredibly high, but as Blizzard has pointed out, it's supposed to be easy, and in this case, I've run this section of the game, I think 3 times already.
Your character is way above where it needs to be.
I am definitely over-leveled for the current content, and these types of modifications seem to be much more important for multiple playthroughs, because Diablo 3 is definitely built as a game that you're not supposed to play through just once. It's built to be played through multiple times on higher difficulties to get better items and things like that, and also a higher degree of challenge. So
yeah, and the modifications will also be useful depending on the group that you're in, right? If they need you to do more area of effect damage, you can switch out to things like that. So
yeah,
it allows you to have a diverse role in a group.
And that's where the mantra is like this. I mean, it's applying to my follower right now, my Templar. But something like that will be definitely useful to other players that are standing around to give everyone kind of a dodge chance. But yeah, so that is the sort of the big change in patch 13. When Blizzard announced this change, the post that they put up online did not tease additional changes. So it would seem that Diablo is somewhere close to a release. The most official information we have so far states that it'll come out sometime in the second quarter of 2012. So hopefully that remains true, and any additional updates on the game or anything like that will certainly be posted on IGN.com, and you can look for more video coverage on IGN and IGN's YouTube page.